Okay, hi YouTube. It is currently January of 2026. My last video was in May of 2025, so about an 8-month period. And I'm doing my annual video, or at least now, moving forward, the videos should just be one per year. And so I've done 8 months now in Germany, and I'm going to go ahead and show you my life during that time. Things have been really good. I've been able to travel quite a bit, and I'm very blessed to do that. And I've been loving my first big kid job, you could call it. And yeah, I'll keep it short. I'll go ahead and just show you what the last years looked like. Yeah, and so as I mentioned, I've been living now in Munich for 8 months. I really fallen in love with the city, the people, the scenery, everything. During this time, I was traveling quite a bit for work, doing some hands-on installations on the water, spending lots of time with my coworkers, who are really just an amazing group, and I'm so lucky to be with them. I met some new friends. Shot here is a view from a rooftop bar in Munich overlooking the city. My Monday nights were spent at Blade Night, so rollerblading through the city. Emily's going to kill me for using this picture, but her and I were both doing long distance for this time, so lots of FaceTiming. And on my birthday, I went to a Breaking Bad themed bar here with my friend Pino and just spent some time with friends. This is for my favorite show, Better Call Saul. In late June, I went up to Berlin with Lydia's boyfriend, and I brought my camera with, so I was able to take some nice pictures of the city, but Munich still has my heart. And then I was down across the border in Czech Republic with some friends, just on a day trip. And so after a challenging 3 months of long distance from Germany to the US, Emily and I were finally able to see each other in Lisbon, Portugal. One of the nights we went to an Empire of the Sun concert. It's one of my favorite Australian bands. Emily and I spent our days exploring the city, walking around. We got very lucky with the weather. One of our favorite memories was looking down on the city from this aqueduct. And yeah, we took lots of pictures during this time. The following weekend, I went down to Italy with my coworkers on an annual company party. We were up in a cabin in the Alps, and we spent our days doing some hiking, eating traditional food, playing games, all those things. Again, the nights here were so beautiful. And a weekend after that, Emily's friend Becca came to visit, and we took a day trip down to Salzburg. And throughout this summer, Emily and I took plenty of evening walks around my house. In August, I was able to go to Vienna on a work trip, and I kind of fell in love with the city as well. Here, I've took some time to walk around and take some images, and it was a very clean, well put together city. And so Emily spent about a month in total in Germany. We went Drindel and Lederhosen shopping. It was fun to take this picture. We also did a 2-day festival called Super Bloom in August. Lots of fun. Got to see some of our favorite artists like Post Malone. I also had a competition with my friend Peter, a Kaiserschmarrn competition. Kaiserschmarrn is a sort of scrambled pancakes, and we went to head here, and I lost by just a few points. But we had some friends over as jurors, and it was a lot of fun. Emily and I spent our Sundays with our recently engaged couple, Peter and Juliana, by the Eisbach. And we even had a chance to see a very rare blood moon one of the nights. That was a lot of fun. And as our time was coming to an end, Emily and I carved some pumpkins just before we prepared her to move to London for grad school. And so Emily chose the United Kingdom as the place to get her master's degree, so I flew up with her to help her kind of move in and get settled in. I didn't take many pictures on this trip, but we did go to Oxford to explore this kind of iconic university. A week later, my buddy Cole Shinuski came over from the States, and we celebrated Oktoberfest together and also just explored around Munich, and it was really fun to show him that. Around this time, too, all the colors were changing, and this city is so pretty around the fall time. I won't say that it's quite comparable to Duluth. Duluth has a very special place in my heart, but the trees changing here were quite beautiful. One of the weekends, I went with my roommate Bartu down to Tegernsee, and we did a maybe 3 or 4 hour hike here right when the colors were peaking, so I took lots of pictures. And yeah, it's a really easy hike from Munich. And this is my street from my house. Again, I mean, look at that tree right there. A bit silly here, but we had a Halloween party at a house, and so me and some friends got together, dressed up as Day of the Dead themed, and it was quite fun. And about a week or so later, Emily came down after being in London for a month. We went on some hikes together. I got to show her Munich around fall time, and we also went to a sort of fall/pumpkin themed area, park. I'm not really sure what you would call it. After she left, I continued hiking, went up with some friends. This is at the entrance of the Alps, and the view from up here was absolutely incredible. A little bit later, some more friends and I went to my first FC Bayern game. Soccer's never really been my big thing, but the energy here was insane, and would definitely like to go back sometime. And yeah, we didn't end up losing that game, unfortunately. Honestly, one of my favorite memories from this year was getting together with one of my coworkers who's half American, and we celebrated Thanksgiving at her house, or her family's house. It's typically celebrated in Germany, but we were still able to get together and do that. And then with my buddy Flo, we went to my first ice hockey game in Germany, and again, the energy was crazy. It was the same energy from the soccer game, just in a hockey stadium, and I had seen nothing like it before. At the same time, my friend Peter was getting confirmed in the Catholic Church, and he asked me to be his sponsor for that big step in his life, and I was very honored to do that. The ceremony was very beautiful, and after we got to share some drinks with the Cardinal of Bavaria, which was completely unexpected, but lots of fun. And now, going into December, we were still doing a little bit of traveling for work, and pictured here is me growing out my beard for the first time. It's a bit more red than I would have expected. And just before leaving, a friend and I had kind of toured some winter markets around here, which are quite known. Then I was on a flight home to Chicago, and one of the first things I had was a very unhealthy deep dish pizza. I kind of missed that American food. And then I directly went south to Texas to see Emily and her family. The weather here was incredibly warm. Didn't really feel like Christmas time, but all the decorations were up, and it was just good to see her and her family. I hadn't seen them in a while. And one of the nights we went on a thing called the Trail of Lights in Austin. It was quite pretty. Then I finally was home for Christmas and got to celebrate with my family. Here we go on our annual hibachi dinner together, which is just some tradition we've always had. I got to also indulge in some more sweets that I couldn't find in Germany, such as these slushies. And lastly, my Aunt Mary came down, and we celebrated a few days around Christmas together, which was very nice. And so that's been the last 8 months of my life. I consider myself to be pretty settled into Germany now. It is a new life, but I'm really enjoying it. There was lots of logistical stuff that I needed to work through this year, just in terms of, getting registered with the city and handling my visa, figuring out the healthcare system. So yeah, there's just a lot of bureaucracy and logistical stuff that I needed to take care of, but it would have been the case in any country. But now I've settled in. I'm kind of finding my routine. I have lots of travels and lots of plans for the next year, including going back home twice and running a marathon. I have some weddings of friends to go to. So there's lots to look forward to. And yeah, all at the same time, still working. Not typical, but it's an 8 to 5 job with a startup company. And so that sucks up a lot of my time, but I am enjoying it, and just finding free time can be a difficulty sometimes now that I'm working, but making the most of it. And yeah, looking forward to next year and looking forward to the next update. So we'll see you all next year. Thanks, guys.